Hey y'all, welcome to Remote Viewing Investigations with Jessica. I'm your host, Jessica Jones. We'll be peering through the veil to shed light on mysterious cases from all over the world. We invite you to join us on this magnificent journey through space and time to try to unravel these mysteries. Please don't forget to give us a thumbs up, share this out, and subscribe to Texas Front Porch and to my channel, The Cryptid Huntress on YouTube. You can find us on Odyssey Radio and iHeartRadio and can contact us at Texas Front Porch on Facebook or email us at paracryptidencounters@gmail.com and oracleofthesouth@gmail.com. You can reach us through text at 972-559-0988. If you'd like to support us in what we do here, our super chats are open. Thanks and enjoy the show. Hey y'all, welcome into Remote Viewing Investigations with Jessica. I'm your host, Jessica Jones, and I have another really awesome show set up for you guys tonight. I have remote viewed Judaculla, the Appalachian giant. Okay, this is something that I've been interested in for a long time. And about 10 years ago, I made a trip up to kind of near Cashers, North Carolina. And I think it's called Sylvan, North Carolina, where Judaculla Rock is. And I learned all about Judaculla and the rock there. Okay, this was the legend of a Cherokee, the Cherokee legend of a giant, okay, that roamed the land for many, many years. They call him Tsul Kalu, okay? And so I'm all into giants, Bigfoot. Some people say it was a Bigfoot. Other people say it was a Nephilim, okay, an angel. And so I totally looked into it. All right. And so I'm going to give you guys a quick little rundown of what we're talking about tonight. Okay. And thank y'all for being here. This is going to be a lot of fun. Okay. So in the southern Appalachian Mountains of Jackson County, North Carolina, lies a large sandstone rock the archaeologists suggest was carved around 11,000 years ago, known as Judaculla Rock. This rock is covered in ancient petroglyphs, which some say tell the tale of Tsul Kalu, the slant-eyed giant who ruled the land many years ago. He guarded his hunting grounds from Judaculla's judgment seat, today known as the Devil's Courthouse, a site reached from the Blue Ridge Parkway. According to Cherokee legend, Tsul Kalu, also known as Judaculla, was known to leap from mountain to mountain, ensuring that no one wandered into his territory without his permission. As a group of Cherokee hunters chased some deer onto his land, the giant grew furious and placed his seven-fingered hand upon the rock and made an impression of his hand as he chased the men away. Some say that he had the behavior and characteristics of a Sasquatch. Others believe he was part of a race of giants that once roamed the earth. Well, y'all know me. I looked into it. I think I know what he was. And I actually just looked into it to see if it was a real being, if he actually existed. And to help me out with all this data that I have tonight, I have a wonderful co-host with me. I have Bigfoot, Michigan, Rob.
Hello, Jessica. Hello, everybody in chat and listening around the world.
Hey, Rob. Thank you so much for joining me tonight.
My pleasure. I'm really interested in this, Jessica, and I'm going to kick back and, put in my 2 cents as per usual. But yeah, I'm excited as you are because I never heard of this story, and I'm glad to be a part of the experience here tonight. And Jessica Jones, Remote View Investigations.
Well, you guys, Rob, I went up to Judaculla with some friends, with my cousin Jesse and who's now his wife, and we went up there and hung out with my friends, Chief David, and his friend Dick, and our friend Will, that's one of the elders of the Cherokee up there, and we spent the whole weekend camped out on top of a mountain. Okay, and we watched what they call the sky ships over Cashers all weekend, and we had Bigfoot activity. We had, I'm just going to call it, I think they called it a witch. There was something running around our camp all weekend. A lot of very high strangeness. Okay. And we spent one of the days at Judaculla Rock. And so I actually have some pictures of what we're going to be talking about tonight. Okay, so for anyone who's not familiar, this is a big, gigantic rock made out of sandstone that it was in a cornfield. Okay, and it has, I can't remember the amount of petroglyphs on there. Let's see, 1,548 motifs. Okay, it's the, let's see, it is the largest number of petroglyphs found on a rock east of the Mississippi River, and that includes the petroglyphs at Track Rock Gap in Georgia, which I've been there too. Okay, and we're going to get into what these petroglyphs mean and the origins behind them, because there's a lot of debate on what it means and where it came from.
Awesome.
So yeah, so not only did I remote view Tsul Kalu, I remote viewed the rock. Okay, so where shall we start? Shall we start with the giant? How about that?
Let us do that, Jessica.
Let's do that. Okay, so when I first heard this story, I just thought of a Bigfoot or some kind of giant creature. I didn't know. When I first went up there, I actually saw what they called the Devil's Courthouse right across from the Judaculla Rock, and I have a picture of the what they call the throne. This is where allegedly Judaculla or Tsul Kalu used to sit. This was his throne where he sat in the middle of this open field right here. Okay. It doesn't look that big, but that was from a distance. So that's what that was. Okay. So, I had just gotten into the Bigfooting field at the time. And, I thought maybe we were talking about a Bigfoot. Okay. Maybe this giant was a Bigfoot.
Yeah.
So I looked into it. My first target. And by the way, if anyone would like to go and see the data from all of this, I'm going to go over most of this tonight on air. But I do have a Patreon where I have all of my the raw data there. It's the Cryptid Huntress. You guys can find that link below in the description box if you guys would like to join and be a member and do remote viewing stuff with me on there. I'm getting to be a little more interactive on the Patreon. So, okay. So my first target was to locate the truth, get the truth behind the slant-eyed giant named Tsul Kalu of the Cherokee legend. Okay. And immediately, right off the bat, I picked up that this was a gigantic Sasquatch type creature.
Yeah.
Okay. This wasn't just a regular giant. Okay. This was it looked more man-like, but it had traits of a Sasquatch. Okay. If that makes sense. Actually, by the end of this target, I had determined that it was like a half Sasquatch, half giant, if that makes sense.
Well, that's an interesting combination of half giant, half Sasquatch.
It is. It's really odd. Now, here's a picture that I found online of what some people say this is what Tsul Kalu looked like, a big, gigantic Sasquatch. Now, other people have said it looked like just a giant human. Like the giant of Kandahar would look, or something like that. Right. But that was one of the pictures that I found online when I was looking at pictures. Okay. So he was part man, part beast, according to my data. He lived in complete solitude. He lived by himself, outcasted. He was basically outcasted, and feared by everyone. Everyone was scared of this thing. So if you guys can't tell, I did determine this existed. It was an actual being, and there was a gigantic being there, according to my data. Okay, he was very skilled in hunting, as the legend says, but he had a big heart. I know. I picked up that he had a big old heart.
Really quick, when you say it was a being, so is it the half man, half Sasquatch, or
no? It wasn't. It wasn't human.
It was not human.
It wasn't human. It was more of a Sasquatch type being. Okay. It was a giant, gigantic Sasquatch type being. Yeah. So
unlike the giant of Kandahar.
Not like the giant of Kandahar.
Okay.
Yeah. Gotcha. Yeah. Okay. But he did have a big heart, but he did not take any crap from anybody. Okay. And you certainly did not want to trespass on his land. What is the common theme, Rob? I swear, of all the targets with all these attacks, it's trespassing.
Yeah,
Okay. So
absolutely.
people will get attacked when they are trespassing. Okay. But he was super territorial, super lonely and a loner. Okay. But very tall. I started picking up on Viking backgrounds. Okay.
Oh,
Something to
wow.
do with Vikings and Gregorian chants. I don't know
Mm,
where that's coming from, but something to do with Vikings. I actually even picked up that whatever this being was, it had something to do with the Vikings. Okay. And I don't know if he had contact with Vikings. Um, I'm not sure, but there was
and
some sort of a connection there.
it's interesting too that you mentioned Vikings because is it not true that Eric the Red, the first Viking leader, they battled giants? I mean, it's written right
Yes.
in history that they didn't actually their first encounter was with humans or other
Yeah.
Vikings. It was actually giants. So this kind of what you're saying right now is kind of makes a lot of sense.
Well, okay, and I did some research today, and Saint Brendan the Navigator was said to have visited the area. He voyaged here from Ireland, I believe. He was Celt, so I guess that's Irish, right?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yes.
and but he came here in the 6th century, and he absolutely could have had contact with this area. Okay, where Judaculla Rock is. Okay,
Okay.
so there's a possibility that this could have happened. Okay. Now, I
Hmm.
also picked up that as far as being a hunter, Judaculla or Tsul Kalu, um, when he would throw, he had primitive weapons. And when he would throw a rock or a spear, it was like a missile. Okay.
Yeah.
And he pretty much hit every target. Okay. And it was brutal, absolutely brutal. And yeah, you definitely did not want to mess with him. Okay. But he smelled horrible. Okay, he was he was unwashed, dirty, stinky, and very weathered. Okay, I picked up on all of that with this poor little giant guy, this big giant. Um, Now, when I was asking him what his origins are, like what is I just said origin. I don't know why I said origin. I don't know why I didn't say like ancestry or DNA or what. I don't know. I
Yeah.
just said origins. That's what I wrote down when I was doing a little deep mind probe on him, and some words came up that I'm not even familiar with, but it went back to Viking origins of some sort. So there's something going on with Viking stuff here. But he has ancient roots. Uh, he told me that he was native to. Oh yeah, he said that he actually was native to the area, and he kept saying, I kept hearing, history is wrong. The
Hmm.
history is wrong. What you know is not the truth. Okay, like what we're taught is not the truth. I kept getting
Right.
that over and over and over again. And then we started going into my data started going towards the giants and the races of giants. There were races of giants here all across America. I guess that was before it was America.
Yeah.
Yeah, we had giants. Giants ruled the land, is what he said.
Okay.
Okay, and so something about the okay, I got some more data, but at the very end, I did pick up that I was getting half Sasquatch, half giant. I know that's like I said, it
Well,
sounds
it
crazy, but who knows?
well, that doesn't sound that crazy. I mean, look at what we do every day, right?
I
On these
know
shows,
it's not as
So
crazy.
to
I
me,
know,
it's not crazy,
I know.
but different. It's different.
It's different.
It's
I had
different for
not heard
Jason.
that before. Yeah. So, but yeah, he definitely had he had what appeared to be Sasquatch characteristics about him, but he was gigantic, and he was very much feared. Okay, now I I actually came across some stories about him. There's another Cherokee legend of Sukalu getting a girlfriend. Okay, and so I
Yeah,
don't know if you guys are everybody's familiar with that. You might have read the story, Rob.
I did.
But there was a young lady who lived with her widowed mother. Okay, and I think he took a liking to her. Okay, to the
Yeah.
young girl, and I don't think she was that young, but she was a young lady, and okay, by the way, Sukalu or Judaculla was known to be very psychic. Okay, he had telepathy and had extra, like, enhanced capabilities, psychic capabilities. And so he went and was trying to kind of woo this young lady. And with her mom, I don't think he wanted the mother to see him because he was so ugly in people's eyes. He was kind of freakish, being so big, you know. But anyways, yeah, I started finding pictures online like this. Like, I just can't imagine. I don't know.
And if I may make a comment,
yes.
He really, you know, looking at this picture, he really did luck out and pick up a hottie. I must say
did. Good for him. Good for him. Well, he was a skilled hunter.
See, I mean, there's somebody out there for everybody.
In these days and times, I mean, I need me a man that can hunt. Okay, that's my next man's gonna hunt, and you know, and yeah, be able to chuck a spear. Okay, just kidding. Anyways, yeah, that's so she was very turned on by his hunting skills apparently, and so they didn't even have to ask him for stuff. He knew when they needed wood because he could read their minds, and he would go kill a deer every night and leave it in their backyard for them. And so anyways, there's a story behind that. And I didn't pick up on that in my remote viewing data. I was not looking for that. I wasn't looking for him mating with human females. So that's something I guess I could have looked into, but I chose not to. So but anyways, I thought that was really interesting. Okay, and I do have some artwork that depicts him, and in a lot of the artwork, most of what I found online, he does look like a Sasquatch. Okay. So, but he is associated with hunting and the Cherokee hunting and staying out of his territory. Now, I believe that they could hunt on his territory when they got his permission. Okay. But God forbid you don't get that permission, you're going down. Okay. Yeah.
When he hunted for this woman, correct?
Yes.
And so he didn't want her mom to see him, correct?
Yes, because she would freak out.
So when he hunted, what did he do? Just leave the dead carcass outside the cabin or something?
Yes, he did. He sure did. Yeah, that's according to the Cherokee legend. Yes, that is what he did. And then one day, eventually, the mother came out and caught him over there at the house before he was able to leave that morning, and she ran off screaming and was terrified.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah. So, yeah, and it made him upset. So it made me sad reading that. I felt bad for the guy.
You know.
Yeah.
Down on the luck guy. You know, I mean, what are you gonna do, right?
Yeah. I don't know. You can't do much, you know. Yeah. You can't shrink yourself down or anything. So.
Yeah, 16 foot tall. Did you say that or did I read that somewhere?
Okay, listen, I did not pick up in my data that he was 16 feet tall, but he was very big. He was huge. The Cherokee legend says 16 feet tall.
Okay. I must
could have been. I don't know. He was very big. So let's see here. All right. So the giant actually walked the earth. Okay. And it was a real being, according to my remote viewing data. Okay. Now I was even just as or more interested in Judaculla Rock. Okay. And this is a big, gigantic rock of sandstone. Okay. That's been here for a long time. Now, archaeologists say it's been here for about 11,000 years. Other people, like my friend, who's a Cherokee elder, he believes it's been here for 13,000 years. 13,300 years is what he said. Okay. Now I have to tell y'all, I did go there, and this was a while back before they had a fence around it. I'm going to show y'all a picture, and I'm actually sitting on it, which is a big no-no. Okay. So y'all don't get mad at me, please. I was sitting on it. Okay. That was back in the day before they had a fence. Okay. And,
wow.
It's a big rock.
That is huge.
Yeah. Don't sit on it, anybody. Please don't sit on it.
It looks like a giant, inflatable bed. See how it's scooped? Like how you could lay down, kind of,
It does. It does. Okay. Well, okay. Some of the petroglyphs that are on this thing are very interesting. They're all very interesting. Okay. There's actually one print on there that looks like a handprint with 7 fingers. Okay. That's the hand. They say, the legend has it that is where Tsul Kalu or Judaculla actually was chasing some Cherokee hunters off of the property, off of the land, and he used that to dig his hand on the rock, and it made an indention in it and an impression as he jumped over it to chase the hunters out of the area. Okay, and that he had 7 fingers, and that's the story that everybody goes by, pretty much. Okay, that's why they call it Judaculla's Rock, because it's got his handprint on it. Okay.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah, but some people say, well, it's a map of the area. Okay, some people say it's just the history of the Cherokee. Okay, it's got Cherokee history behind it. Some people say it's a map of the stars. Okay, and so with all of the petroglyphs, carved into it, I guess, it's very interesting. So I actually remote viewed it to find out the origin behind it and to explain the meaning of some of the art on it. Okay, and yes, I picked up that Judaculla Rock is a map of the stars. Okay, it's not only a map of the stars, but it's like a storybook of ancient times. Okay, and it is going to predict the future as well. Okay, so it's like an all-in-one. All right, wow. It's like it tells you the past, it's predicting the future. It's a record of history that goes all the way back to the star beings. Okay, I was picking up on star beings, ancient, if it was like Mars and ancient Egypt, okay, and like settlements of people from different planets on our planet, okay, and it has to do with universal laws, and I was picking up on something about our aquatic history. I don't even know what that is. Aquatic history.
Yeah. Yes, water, right? I mean, aquatic.
Water, I guess. Well, here's another thing. So I'm going to get into what my friend Chief David wrote about this. I'm gonna read some excerpts from his book about Judaculla Rock later that I picked up today, and it blew my mind.
So, okay. And really quick then, so are you suggesting, or is the data suggest, or the story suggesting that this rock came from star people?
Yes, perhaps, yes. Okay. So it has something to do with alien, what I would consider aliens. These are beings from other planets. Okay, and it's all about the giants. It was suggesting that it had something to do with the giants. Now, I'm not sure if kind of what I was picking up was that giants actually made this. Okay, the giants are the one who actually carved out some of the petroglyphs, is what my data was suggesting. And but they were talking. It's telling a story, or there's something to do with giants ruling the earth at this time when these things were carved. Okay, it had something to do with the flood. Okay, a big flood that happened, and it's very much has to do with intergalactic. Some kind of destruction that happened. It's almost like Star Wars. I was picking up Star Wars, and almost like there was some kind of battle in space, and it's telling some of the story of that, and then some of the star people came here because there was a war going on intergalactically. Okay, I know it sounds wild, but that's just what my data was picking up. An intergalactic war in the sky, and this is telling the tale of some of that, and this rock is withstanding the test of time, but it's all about gods and things off planet, gods that are off planet. Okay. So I know it's kind of a lot, but
it's interesting. I mean, it's a rock, perhaps from star people, yet the engravings were from these giants, right? So it's almost like they kind of, it's just wild. It's like they all blend together, right?
Yeah.
The giants. There's a lot here to untangle.
There is, and we only have 50 something minutes tonight, but there is a lot, but it does have a lot to do with the star beings from another planet, another galaxy. Okay, and so I wanted to touch on. Okay, so that's what my data said. It's kind of broad, but it does have something to do with the stars and a map, the constellation.
Yeah.
Hidden history, kind of things that we're not told, we're not taught. Okay, but it has been passed down orally through oral tradition through Cherokee tradition. Okay. And I happen to be friends with Chief David Webb. I haven't talked to him in probably 10 years. You know, life got in the way a little bit, but he wrote a really awesome book that my mother has. And let's see if I have it here. I have a picture of it here, and it is called Judaculla Speaks. Okay. That's the front of the cover. And if anyone would like to find this book online, that you can buy it on Amazon. Okay. I highly recommend it, by the way. And there's David right there on the back. That's the back of the book. But this tells the story of Tsul Kalu and Judaculla Rock. He's able to interpret some of the petroglyphs on here. Okay. And so after I did my remote viewing target, today I went and I read some of his, what the petroglyphs mean with some of them. And I was so confused, like, what does aquatic history have to do with anything?
Yeah.
And,
I mean, let's mix it all together.
What is that?
Outer space giants and now aqua people.
I guess so. Okay. Well, he has been able to interpret a lot of what is on this rock. Okay, because it's been passed down for generations and generations. And let's see, what are some of the first ones? I'm just going to go kind of page by page. This is all by David Webb, everybody. Okay. If you look on the rock, let me pull up a picture. There's a long line sketched across the middle of this rock. You guys will see it right there on the bottom right-hand corner. He says that is a measuring line, a light from heaven. Okay. A lot of this story has to do, according to him, it has to do with spirit. Okay. Spirit and the heavens, and something that he calls the plant world. Okay. And plant language. So, and I'm still a little fuzzy on all of that.
Yeah.
But he's talking about the story of Judaculla Rock is actually meant to be told at this time. He said the age of Aquarius, which we are just going into the age of Aquarius. We're leaving the age of Pisces and going into the age of Aquarius, which is really interesting that I chose to do this target this week. It says that we are now entering the age of Aquarius, the water bearer, also known as the quickening time of returning to collective consciousness.
Wow.
Okay. That line that you see that goes across the bottom of the rock, he calls that the measuring line, the light from heaven. And it has to do with Yohiwa, the sky chief. Okay. That is, I'm going to say it's like a god. Okay. But yeah. So hold on. Let's see what other ones I've got here. Okay. Okay. So there's one of the petroglyphs on there that looks like a man that has like octopus legs. Okay. And I'm not sure if you can see it on there. I can't even make out what's what right now.
I can see an octopus. I'm staring straight at it. Yep.
Yeah. Well, that may be the hand. The hand also looks the same as an octopus, but there's one, there is a connection to Pleiades. Is that how you pronounce that? To the constellation Pleiades. Okay.
Pleiades. Yeah.
Yes. And so this is that the man that looks like a person with like octopus legs. It's actually roots. His legs are roots that go into the ground. But that is the king of the universe, and it has to do with Pleiades, and that is where the beings that came down here came from. Was Pleiades. And something I found very interesting was he says in his book that the Pleiadians brought water to our planet. Okay, which is interesting. And I was bringing up something about aquatic history in my data, so I thought that was really interesting. Okay, let's see, the tree of life. Do I have the tree? We've got the tree of light. Okay, this is another one. This is from David's book. That's the tree of light right there. And let's see, this is about the thunder beings that came from the stars known as satellites. Sundaya, the son of the sun, S-U-N, came from the tree of light. And let's see, it just, all this is very spiritual. This has to do with divine alchemy. Okay. And, the sign is also called the turtle back. And It's talking about warriors on their journey, how they are seeking the truth, and they're warriors that go out to look for the truth and find it, so that they can come back and tell other people and raise their consciousness, okay, and things like that. It's kind of interesting, because I feel that's kind of what a lot of us are doing today, is we're trying to discover the truth and put it out there and bring everybody with us, okay.
Yes, we're always out to discover the truth.
We are.
Truth. And guess what? Guess what my sign is? I guess
What's that?
Aquarius.
Oh, very cool.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, interesting, because in my data, I actually drew it look kind of like a pitchfork. And what is that? There's actually one of those symbols on the rock, and it's the tree of life. Okay. And that's, looks like Neptune's spear, whatever that is, you know. I don't know if that has anything to do with anything, Rob, but anyways.
Well, Neptune is aqua, right? So
It is. It is. Okay. And let's see what else we have here. Okay. There's a dagger also. Let me see. What does the dagger mean? Okay. There's a symbol for divine alchemy on there. Okay. Yeah, it's very spiritual. I don't know. I don't even know where to. There's so much information here. I don't even know if I don't even know where to start.
You know, yeah.
Let's just say the ancient Egyptians are depicted doing some of these same symbols, though. Okay, and I did pick up on ancient Egypt in my data, and there's acts of what they call purification.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and this is depicted on Judaculla Rock as well. Okay, purification rites. Okay, and that's something that's passed down for instance, ancient times. Okay, so a lot of the stuff that's on here is depicted in ancient Egypt. All right, so and plus we've got the what they call the Southern Cross, I believe. That's on here, and a lot of Cherokee pottery will have this emblem on it in the cross.
Okay.
So this is the holder of the universe. Okay. Just a whole lot of spiritual stuff going on Judaculla Rock here. Okay. There's also a picture of a dagger on here. Okay. It's like a knife. Let's see if I can see it on there. It's somewhere in the middle. There's a dagger, right? And it's a symbol of betrayal. Okay. An adversary to the light. The stars had fallen to the garden of life as a reminder to us of betrayal. I mean, a lot of this is very biblical. Okay. Too.
That's about the 10th different thing that you've brought up already in 30 minutes.
Yeah.
Egypt, right. The Bible, giants, aqua, everything.
It's got everything. I'm telling y'all, this has got everything. It's all here. Okay. But yeah, it's a lot of the stuff that's on here is, I mean, you can find these stories in the Bible too. Okay. So, yeah, it makes you wonder. It really makes you wonder, where all of this is from and where it originated from. So, yeah.
Well, the petroglyphs too, that originated right from Egypt, right? Is that where they originally come from?
The what?
Petroglyphs. I mean, that's from
petroglyphs. No, they're older than ancient Egypt. Yeah, they're older.
Older, yeah, right. So they came from all over.
Yeah, I guess so. Now, okay, let's get back to Judaculla for a minute, because I just saw a picture that I have on here of my friend Will. Is someone that I met when we were out there at Judaculla Rock. And let's see. So there's one thing that you can do to make if Tsul Kalu attacked you and grabbed you. There's one thing you could do to prevent that, and that was to wear a booger mask. Okay, and so if you're here if you're doing Bigfoot field research, you probably heard of booger mask. Okay, and Will, this is one of the gentlemen that I was out in the mountains with. He is an amazing artist. Okay, and this is some of his art, and this is one of his booger masks that he's holding. And so you can wear a booger mask, and it makes them it would make Tsul Kalu let go of you. Okay. And it would keep the Bigfoots away from you too. Okay. Because it thinks you're one of them, apparently. So also, if you guys are interested in that totem that's behind him that he actually carved,
Yeah, that's interesting.
That is the Stone Coat Witch. Okay, and let me tell y'all something. That is a scary story. The Stone Coat Witch. Now, if you're familiar with the Bigfoots and Sasquatch, you probably heard of the Stone Coat Giants. Okay, well, this is the Stone Coat Witch that he has carved in the totem, and it looks like she is choking a child out, right?
Right.
So, yeah,
And it looks like at the bottom, it looks like she's holding a baby reverse, a
yeah.
baby.
Well, okay. Well, we've got these traditional stories of I'm going to say mythological witches with the Cherokee, and one of
Yeah.
them is Spearfinger. Okay, and Spearfinger is known for taking children and using her long speared finger and sticking it inside their back and pulling out their liver. Okay, and eating
Oh,
their liver.
yeah.
Yeah. So the Stonecoat Witch and Spearfinger, those are all fascinating to me. I love these stories. But let me tell you, you don't want to be up on top of a mountain, a long ways from anywhere, and all of a sudden Will starts yelling out in Cherokee. It's something that is creeping up on our camp that just might be the Stonecoat Witch. Okay, that was terrifying. Let me just tell y'all that. But anyways, yeah. So the booger mask. Okay, so the Cherokee developed two ways to ward off Tsul Kalu. The first way was to keep it out of certain places was done by making a booger mask, which was styled to look like the face of Tsul Kalu, which would trick it into thinking it was a bigger Tsul Kalu and would scare it away. The other option was used if captured by the Tsul Kalu. The only way this could happen was if a person was completely alone, which would prompt the Tsul Kalu out of spiritual form and into physical form, in which it would grab the victim and attempt to hypnotize or take over the mind of him or her. At this stage, the person must have Cherokee blood or it was said not to work. The victim would have to say a phrase which means leave in Cherokee, which would make Tsul Kalu release the victim. Okay. So, yeah. So there are ways to combat Tsul Kalu. Okay. There were ways. It wasn't easy, but you could combat him. Okay. All 16 feet of him.
Well, the alleged 16 feet. Yeah. And
Alleged. I didn't pick up on 16 feet, but he was
yeah,
really
I know.
big.
Yeah, I made mention. I think I read that somewhere. And yes, I think I would go with the booger mask.
Yeah, everybody needs a booger mask.
You know?
Okay. I need one too. I like that name too. But yeah, we have petroglyphs in Georgia. Okay. And there's a place called Track Rock Gap. And I believe that might be the same area where our Mayan ruins are. Okay. And which is interesting because they say that a lot of these petroglyphs have depictions that are found in Mayan settlements. Okay. So there's a very rich history down here in the South.
There is, and didn't we just do a show on this what was that called? The Gladstones? Is that in
The
Georgia?
Guidestones.
Guidestone. Yeah, well, I'm
the
trying to remember,
the Gladstones.
We have so many shows, right? Yeah, the Gladstones.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the Georgia Guidestones. That was not ancient. Yeah. Those were put here recently in the 1980s.
That was I remember the story now, but it just seems like Georgia's got everything going on. I got to pay that state a visit now when I make my travels.
You do. You need to come down here. Yes. Now I see. I'm sorry I haven't been flashing up all the comments tonight. I've been busy talking about these giants. But Danny, yes, Spearfinger would be handy for scratching those hard to reach places. And if your liver needed a massage, she would be glad to take that for you. Yeah, that is actually a terrifying tale of Spearfinger. And sometimes when I'm out in the woods doing Bigfooting, we may or may not have had some sort of interesting run-in with Spearfinger before out there doing research. So that's a story for another day. But
well, if you woke up with your side sore, right, in your liver area, perhaps it was.
Maybe so. I don't know. Yeah, that's actually the least of my worries out in the woods, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I tell you.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I don't want to miss any of these comments. I'm sorry, y'all. I am totally behind all the comments tonight, but yeah. So, yeah, why don't we talk some more about some of these books? Okay. If anyone is interested in learning about Cherokee history, I highly recommend this book. I did not upload this. I think I uploaded the where you can find it online, but this is Cherokee Beliefs and Practices of the Ancients. It's called Out of the Flame. Okay, and Chief David highly recommended that I get this book back in the day, and this is one of the best books if you want to learn about some of the folklore and the legends and things like that. Okay, sorry, my voice is going here a little bit, but that's a great book, and I highly recommend too. You guys get Chief David's book. Here's Out of the Flame: Cherokee Beliefs and Practices of the Ancients. This is by James Adair. Okay, and Chief David's book is called Judaculla Speaks, written in stone by David Allen Webb. Okay, all right. Let's see. Okay, so I saw pictures of Judaculla looking like an angel, like a Nephilim.
I don't know. It's either Nephilim or Nephilim.
Nephilim, yes.
Yeah, I don't know.
Well, it's interesting because in the Bible, I believe that Judaculla was actually they were kind of using Judaculla as Goliath in the Bible. It's like they portrayed Judaculla as Goliath, if that makes sense. Okay. It says in Bible translated, Goliath equals Judaculla. Okay. So it makes you wonder, there's a lot of similarities with the story that's on the petroglyph and the Bible. Okay. Stories in the Bible, which I think is really interesting. But
did you say that they compared David and Goliath to Judaculla?
Judaculla. Yes.
All these names, And if I do recall from the Bible, that's even, I think David, some people, depending on how they measured in cubits, I think it was between 8 and 12 feet tall,
Yeah.
But I think the David and Goliath tale, I think 16-footer, but then I guess records show he was in between 8 and 12 feet, so.
Yeah.
That's just very interesting stuff, Jessica.
It is. Okay, now, and I was picking up a lot on Vikings. Okay, Viking history with this area, and so the ancient Celts, which are, I guess that's the Irish, right? They use something called ogham. Okay, ogham is a type of, I think it's like a type of petroglyph, if I'm not mistaken. Okay, and it looked very similar to these markings on the stone. And let's see if I can pull it up. Yeah, it looks very similar to some of these markings. And so a lot of historians, archaeologists assume that perhaps the Vikings did this. Maybe this had something to do with ogham. Maybe that was them that did this. Now, I did pick up on a lot of Viking activity, but I did not pick up that the Vikings made this. Okay, the people who came over here during the 6th century. I did not get that. Okay, but I did get that it is a star map, okay, in a way, with constellations on it. And a lot of people say this has magical powers, okay? And okay, Lisa, I don't know if Lisa's in the chat tonight. I haven't been checking the chat so much, but Lisa Lou, she was letting me know that she lives right there. This is in her backyard. Okay. And she said that in the daytime, it has a totally different energy than it does at night with this rock. There's something completely different, that it's a little bit more eerie. Like there's a different energy with the rock. So I don't know what that's about. I did not pick up on that with my data, but I wasn't looking for it. Okay. Right. So I'm not sure what that is, but I just wanted to make a note of that. Okay. And also when I was there, we spent the weekend watching sky ships over Cashers. Okay. And Cashers is very close to Judaculla Rock. It's just right down the road. And I got to tell you, Chief David was calling in the sky ships. He told me he could and that he would. And I don't know what he did, but he called in the sky ships. And every night we were there, he'd call them in and we would watch. I watched every night as 4 like spaceships came down and surrounded us on top of the mountain. And they were there all night. Yeah. So it was very, very interesting. That is a very highly strange area.
Yeah,
Okay.
you showed me that picture earlier, but that's a pretty cool looking area too, up on the mountain like that. It looks like a nice
Yes.
nice landing area.
It is. And thank you, Enzo. It is. It's spelled Ogum, if anyone is interested in researching that. Yeah, I did not research that too much. I just knew that it was called Ogum, and it's something that is from I guess the Celts carved out these petroglyphs and things like that. So yeah, it's one of the first writings. Okay. Yeah. All right. Yeah. I mean, if anybody's in the area of Cherokee, North Carolina, or Sylvan, or Kalui, I think is how you pronounce it. Kalui, maybe Kalui. Y'all go check out Judaculla Rock. It is a really cool place. All right, it's really cool. I highly recommend it. And it's very magical. They say that people go out there and do rituals and stuff like that. So it's one of those types of places. It's actually is I would assume it's on a ley line. Okay. There's something more to it. There's something very mystical about it. So yeah. Yeah. Someone said they don't want to get probed. So
Yeah,
I don't blame you.
that's been an odd running joke for a while now.
I don't blame you. I don't blame you at all. But yeah, let's see. So yeah, so it tells you also the rock's also telling us about advanced cultures. Okay, it's like we have gone backwards. Okay, since talking about as far as cultures go and things like that, cultures were much more highly advanced according to what Chief David was saying. This rock is telling us. Okay, advanced civilizations were coming here and pretty much. What do you call it? I guess they were just coming to our planet and setting up shop. Okay, and all over here. And I did pick up on Mars. Okay, he even says that there's one of the petroglyphs is depicting Uranus. Okay, the planet. I have to pronounce that right so I don't laugh. It's Uranus. Okay. But yeah, one of the petroglyphs actually is they call it 0x. It's the final glyph on in his book that he writes about, and he says that it's the seventh planet from Earth, and it's the symbol of celestial power. Okay. In certain circles, a strong spiritual warrior fighting entities of negativity would mentally set up the image of 0x symbol in his or her vision to stamp out the negativity. Okay. This is all about spiritual warfare. And if you guys are paying attention right now, I feel like we are in a spiritual war. Okay. Right now at this time. And so I think it's really interesting that this has come up and I decided to do this target this week. I did not realize that, I don't know. I just think it's fitting. Okay. I just think it's fitting. Nothing happens by coincidence, in my opinion. I think that this was meant to be this week, just to bring attention to Judaculla Rock and maybe have some people, you guys look into it a little bit more. You know, we have about 5 minutes
Yeah,
left on the show.
I'm definitely gonna look into this because
Yes.
the there's just this first hour just flew by and there's just so much to unpack. We probably could have made it a 3 hour show, you know.
Well, we could, but you know, there's a lot of shows on tonight, and I wanted to
No,
watch
no,
my friend William Nighthawk and Dennis
yeah.
Carroll at
Well,
10.
I didn't
So
mean that. I didn't mean to make this show longer. I meant there's just so much. It's
yeah,
abundance.
you could
I mean,
talk about this
you
for
could, yeah.
yes, you
I'm
could talk
definitely
about
gonna
this
check
for a long
into it.
time. But yeah, it I feel like it's very fitting right now, just to bring this into the collective consciousness, as this was saying earlier today. It's time to bring the story that's on this rock back into the collective consciousness. Okay, so that so we can not only learn to protect ourselves, but learn our true history. Okay, learn the history of this planet and just look into it. It's time to start questioning our history books, everybody. Question what you're told, question what you're taught, and just look deeper into things. Okay, and yeah, and that's what we're doing over here on Remote Viewing Investigations. So the name of the last book, Jean, is it is. Let's see, I've got the banner right here. I believe it's Out of the Flame. If that's the one you're referring to, I've got Out of the Flame. and it's Cherokee Beliefs and Practices of the Ancients by James Adair. And we also have Judaculla Speaks by David Allen Webb. So you guys, please grab a copy. You can get those on Amazon, and I know Chief David would appreciate it, and he deserves it. It's a smart man, and very knowledgeable, and very much into oral history, and telling these tales. And it was his mission to have these stories live on. Okay. And so I hope I did it justice tonight. It was a lot to pack into 50 minutes, but I did the best I could.
You did a great job. No, you did a great job. You laid out a nice summary, right? And maybe, who knows, a month down the road, we'll reconvene with everything. We could do a deep dive.
Yes, we probably could. Yes. Yeah, I mean, I'm interested in looking into more giants. Okay, I know this was more of a Sasquatch type being. Okay, but I'm really into these giants and finding out where all these bones have gone. Where are the skeletons? Okay,
they're definitely not at the Smithsonian.
Absolutely not. Why would you say that? So yeah,
that's another story. That's another show for another time.
It is. Well, yeah. Well, thank everybody for being here tonight. And we will we're going to look into this more in the future at some point. But let me see if I have any more pictures to show everybody. No. I think we pretty much covered everything tonight. So, and if you guys wanted to look more into the Sasquatch having a girlfriend, that story's online. You guys can find that. It's I don't even know where I found that, y'all, but it's there somewhere. That picture cracks me up.
It does.
So yeah, y'all have fun looking for stuff like that online. It's that's Tsul Kalu, Judaculla, and his girlfriend. Okay, and I don't know. He was a fierce hunter though. That counts. I bet he kept it warm at night. All right. Yeah. Well, everybody, Rob, thank you for being here with me tonight. This has been a blast.
No problem. Fun. Thank you. I enjoyed it.
Okay, awesome. All right, everybody. Well, please join me tomorrow night. I'm going to be on Spaced Out Radio. I have Michael James coming on. I have Eric Vanderlaan coming on. Eric is with War Party Paranormal, and Michael is with Forest of Monsters up in Tennessee. We're going to talk about his Bigfoot research, and he knows a little something about Spearfinger, I believe. So we might talk about Spearfinger tomorrow night. Cool. That's going to be fun. A bunch of Cherokee legends, actually, tomorrow. So I'll see y'all at Spaced Out Radio, 10 p.m. Eastern tomorrow night. And we'll see y'all back here again next Friday. Okay. All right. Well, y'all have a great night. And thanks for joining us. I will see you later, Rob. Okay.
I will talk to you later. Thank you.
All right. Well, have a good night, y'all. Bye.
Bye, everybody.